Are you ready to unlock your full potential and maximize your productivity? Look no further than Productivity Smarts, the ultimate audio podcast hosted by renowned productivity expert Gerald J. Leonard. In every episode, Gerald shares captivating stories, invaluable tips, and cutting-edge strategies that will transform the way you approach productivity. Whether you're looking to reduce stress, overcome overwhelm, or simply get more done in less time, Productivity Smarts has got you covered. But that's not all. You'll also gain inspiration from real-life success stories of individuals who have achieved greatness through productivity. Plus, you'll learn the latest tools, techniques, and habits that will help you achieve a new level of happiness and fulfillment in your personal and professional life. So why wait? Join us every week as we delve into the exciting world of productivity and help you unleash your full potential. Get ready to take your productivity to the next level with Productivity Smarts. As a productivity expert and host of the Productivity Smarts podcast, Gerald J. Leonard has been a proud supporter of Kiva since 2011. Kiva is a non-profit organization that helps entrepreneurs in third world countries access the capital they need to start or grow their businesses. By making a small loan through Kiva, you can help these entrepreneurs achieve their dreams, support their families, and contribute to their local economies. And with a repayment rate of over 96%, your loan can be re-lent to another entrepreneur once it's repaid, creating a ripple effect of positive change. So if you're looking for a meaningful way to make a difference in the world, consider making a loan through Kiva. With loans as small as $25, anyone can be a microlender and help change lives. Visit kiva.org to learn more and start lending today.
Well, today my guest is Laurie S. Jacobson. She's a certified health coach with over 25 years of experience, motivational speaker, and author of Unexpected Awakening, 22 Days at a Buddhist Monastery Freed Me from Abuse. Laurie's transformational journey teaches us how to shift mindset, claim our power, and create a life of growth, joy, and well-being. Laurie, how are you?
I'm very well, Gerald. Thank you.
Excellent, excellent. Well, it's good to talk to you, and I'm looking forward to it. I enjoyed your book. It's very well written, and it's very suspenseful with all the different things and experiences that you went through. And so you're actually learning from you about a lot of this transformation as you understand your journey. But before we get into the book, I have a question for you, which I ask all my guests, and that is, what is your favorite style of music?
Oh, well, I suppose my very favorite that moves me the most has to be classical.
Okay. Any favorite song or any favorite artist?
Well, I love Beethoven's Seventh Symphony because it's written in the key of A major. And I don't know why, but whenever I hear something in the key of A major, it just lifts me up.
Wow. We are very much vibrational beings, as you know. And, I'm sure for some reason, the way your body is tuned, A major means a lot to you. Most of my guests will answer that question. They will never talk about what key the song is in. So you're way ahead of the pack when it comes to your knowledge of music and A major, A minor, or, whatever, A flat or whatever. So kudos to you. So listen, how did you get started in this field of being a certified coach, and what has helped you to become successful and to write this book that you've written?
Well, I've always been interested in health and wellness. I think everyone is sort of obligated to take care of themselves,
Right.
to take care of themselves and to take care of others. But it has to start with you first. And I suppose when I was growing up, I was a little chunkier than I am now. And my mother really drilled it into me that it would be a lot better if you could lose a few pounds. So I started really focusing on what I was eating and nutrition. And it just became something that I just always wanted to learn more. What can I do to increase my longevity? I was thinking these things in college. I was like 20 years old, and I was already thinking like, well, I hear about all these women getting breast cancer. I don't want to get breast cancer. What can I do now?
Right.
It really started with cooking. I was always interested in cooking. I enjoyed cooking. And so my journey began with just teaching cooking classes. And I got such a nice reception from that, and people really enjoyed it. And then I went on to teach nutrition education at various community colleges. And I learned yoga and I taught yoga. So I really started to branch out into all the aspects of natural health. And it just culminated with I wanted to help people one-on-one, so I became a certified health coach.
Okay.
And so I wore many hats in that field.
Gotcha. Well, let's jump into the book because you do talk about throughout the book, you tell the story of your transformational journey. And really what piqued my interest was the 22-day retreat at a Buddhist monastery where you learned how to meditate and you learned about yoga, you learned about energy, mindset, and things like that. And in the book, you describe this profound transformation during that process. How did the silent meditation experience reshape your daily productivity habits and your mindset?
Well, I think the key word you just mentioned was silent. When I tell people that I went on a silent retreat, they just freak out because they're like, oh my God, how could you stay quiet for all that time? And at first, it wasn't easy because we're used to conversation, we're used to replying to people and
Right.
saying what we think. But silence is so powerful. And I think what it does is it makes you a better listener.
Yeah.
And I think that really ties into productivity so much. And as a health coach, I have to slow down and listen to people. In order to help them, I have to listen to them and give them the space to speak because a lot of times you just want to respond. You always want to respond. The mind is going so fast and they'll say something and you're already thinking like, well, what am I going to say back? But if you stay quiet and really listen and focus in on what is this person really saying? It's like they say that when one of your senses is lost, the other senses get magnified.
Yeah.
So just imagine if you couldn't speak, if you were mute, your hearing would get better and you'd really pay attention. And that's really so much of what the mindfulness journey was paying attention. But the silence really helps you be a better listener, I would say.
Yeah. So really focusing on listening, because when you focus on listening, you are able to pick up on the intent of what people are saying and the emotions, where if you're already trying to figure out what to say when somebody else is speaking, then a part of what they're saying, you're missing. You're really missing it. And so it's really, really important.
And, an interesting exercise, because I know I do this with my husband a lot because we're together. We're both like retired and we're together a lot. And just tune in and see how many times you actually interrupt somebody. I mean, I'm finding he's interrupting me and I'm interrupting him because we're both on the same wavelength and we both want to respond to each other. But nobody likes to be interrupted. And I would just say to people, like in your daily life, just notice if you start to interrupt somebody when they're speaking and just use that to help you be a better listener and be quiet.
Yeah, that's really important. Now, let me ask you this. As a health coach, how do you help professionals or creatives turn that mental or emotional obstacle into actionable steps for growth?
Well, it all depends on what the obstacle is. When someone comes to me, they have some sort of problem or issue that they're trying to resolve.
Right.
And most of the time it has to do with something physical, like I want to lose weight or I want to get my blood pressure down or whatever that is. But, mental obstacles are tougher. A lot of times these are formed in childhood and they're very ingrained and it's hard. Sometimes we repress them so much down into our subconscious that we don't even know they're there. And I would say that for those types of issues, when you're struggling with mental or emotional issues, which are a lot different than physical issues, meditation is such a great resource. It's such a good tool because if you quiet the body and the mind, you will find, and this happened to me, I wrote about this in the book, you will just find that these traumas or emotional issues that you have stuffed down for years and years will just bubble up to the surface
Yes.
and you'll become aware of them. And in order to deal with them, first, of course, you have
Yeah.
to be aware of them.
Right.
So I would say to bring awareness to these things first, let them surface, bring awareness to them, and then we can figure out how to manage it or overcome it or make you a better, more productive, more efficient, loving human being.
Many people struggle with the mindset of being blocked. They'll say things like, I don't have enough time, or I'm feeling stuck. I've heard that a lot. I've even said that myself at one time. And I was coached through the fact that, well, if you have resources, there's no need to be stuck. But when you're working with someone and they find themselves in this stuck state, how do you help them become more productive in a way that aligns with their well-being?
Oh boy, you really hit on something big. It's stuckness. We all struggle with getting stuck, and it's really just our own minds that are holding us back
Yeah.
on that. And we tell ourselves these stories, like you said, oh, I don't have enough time, or what a big one is I'm not good enough. I
Yeah.
can't do this because I'm not good enough, or I don't deserve this. That's a real big one that people struggle with. And I'm a big believer in baby steps, and slow and steady wins the race. So you have to start with like little baby steps. So if somebody feels stuck and I'm not going to tell them, go and meditate for half an hour. I'm going to say, why don't you just sit quietly and notice your breath for like 2 minutes or 1 minute? And most people will say like, oh, well, I can do that. That can't be that hard,
Right.
because you have to like pare down the challenge and make them feel like it's not so overwhelming. Whatever they're trying to do, whatever they feel stuck with, it's not so overwhelming that you can't chip away at it a little bit. And usually the hardest thing, and I'm talking to myself too, is starting. The hardest thing is starting. So you'll find like, just start, just do anything. Like, as a writer, I'm thinking, okay, well, what am I going to write next? Well, just write a sentence. And then all of a sudden, things will start to move. So I would just say, peck away at things slowly and give yourself just a very short goal. And that will help give you confidence to move forward.
Yeah. I heard this really great analogy about being stuck from someone it was a long time ago. And you brought it up as you were talking. And that was being stuck is like being a GPS that when you stop and it loses access to the satellite, it's like finding the location, looking for location or something like that. Yeah. And the only way to get past that is you have to drive the car. It doesn't matter which direction you drive it. Just start driving, and then the GPS will find the signal and it'll say now rerouting directions, and it'll now give you new directions. And sometimes what happens is we get stuck and we stay stuck. And so there's no new feedback or information or anything coming in, where if we just said, okay, I'm feeling stuck, I don't know what to do. Okay, you know what? I'm going to just close my laptop and I'm going to go take a walk, or I'm going to take a shower, or I'm going to go just do some laundry. I'm going to do something else other than what I'm doing being stuck, whether I'm writing or programming or whatever. Just move, do something different, shake it off like a big wet dog, just kind of shake it off physically, and then do something. And then pretty soon you will begin to get a sense of, oh, wait a minute, you know what? I can do this one thing. And another thing is to chunk the work down too. So whatever you're working on, it's like, I'm feeling stuck. Well, what's one small, like you said, minuscule thing that I could do that would move me forward that may take me 2 minutes? You do that, and then you go, oh, you know what? I got that done. Okay, well, maybe I'm done for the day, and tomorrow I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do a few more things, but now you're not stuck anymore, right?
Exactly. And I love your analogy of the GPS, because it made me think when you're searching for the satellite, right? And you're not sure what to do and you want to move forward, you have to have faith and trust that once you start moving forward, that you'll find the satellite. The satellite will find you in a sense. And that's sort of what I came away with also when I was going through this transformation is like, I came away with this big faith and trust in the universe to, if I made the effort, the universe would have my back in a sense. I just trusted the process. And it's almost like you say, whatever you're doing, even if you have to stop and do something else, trust that the process will find you again and just use that as motivation maybe or inspiration.
Exactly. Now, in the book, you teach people that personal growth involves physical, mental, and spiritual dimensions. And you would kind of exemplify that through the journey that you take in the book, because you go to the retreat, you're meeting certain people, you're having certain conversations. Sometimes you're going through the meditation and learning how to meditate with the different masters that you're working with. You have colleagues that you're serving, or, you talked about cooking there and the different things that you did at the event and so on. How does this integration between the three lead to being more sustainably productive versus just coming up with a to-do list? Because we can get unstuck for a little while if we check a to-do list, but sometimes that'll take us only so far. It really does take the integration of our physiology, our mental mindset, our language, our thought process, and even that spiritual part of us to kind of get quiet and go within and hear that small voice that says, hey, you're better than this, you can do this, you can move forward, and you begin to find yourself during that time. What are your thoughts there?
Oh, well, that's just very beautifully put, Gerald. It's so important to recognize that the journey is a holistic journey.
Yeah.
And it's a balance. It's a balance of mind, body, and spirit. So everyone has to start somewhere, right?
Yeah.
You might only start with one. And you might just say, okay, my blood work came back really badly and I have to lose 20 pounds. I'm going to start an exercise program. So let's say you might start with something physical. But then what'll happen, and this is where I tell my clients, you have to trust this process, is that everything will integrate so naturally because once you start on a path for one, the others will just follow. Like, let's say you start a walking program and you have more energy. Well, maybe you'll go into the kitchen now and make yourself a healthy meal, whereas before you might just be sitting on the couch or going through the drive-through or something.
Right.
So, or maybe after your walk, you'll just feel so calm, and that will help you spiritually and mentally.
Yeah.
So as long as people recognize that you want to try to balance these things, but you don't have to embrace them all at once.
Yeah.
They all will piggyback on one another. So just, again, going back to the theme of starting slowly and doing one thing at a time, pick something that says to you, I really either need to be doing this or I really want to do this for myself, for my holistic health. What is the one thing that I can do that I think I can manage on a consistent basis, and have faith that once you do that, the next thing will come and all of them will just integrate really naturally.
Exactly. And sometimes it's just starting with that small piece and doing it on a consistent basis, and also getting help, getting people around you, finding that one or two people who will encourage you or who will inspire you or who will hold you accountable and help you through this. Because sometimes we do need that ourselves as we go through this.
Absolutely. I mean, people can thrive with a support system.
Exactly.
Most people need a bit of a cheerleader. That's why I became a coach, because I want to cheerlead people. I want to be their support system and their accountability. But I will tell you, a lot of times writing is a very lonely activity. I was by myself almost the whole time with this book because I'm not the type of person to go to critique groups and have everybody give me comments. Like, I just had to get through it myself. So there are times when you have to do it yourself, but for the most part, definitely support is very beneficial.
Excellent, excellent. Now, for creatives or people who have a burst of inspiration, right? They get a great idea, they get inspired, and now they're like, man, I'm really going after this. I've done one or two things. I've done it for like 2 or 3 days, but now I'm starting to struggle with follow through. What specific practices or mindset shifts have you found where, even like in your cooking coaching or the coaching process that you do, helping people to turn that struggle or that block from following through into inspiration and consistent action?
Oh boy, you ask the big questions, don't you?
I do my homework and read your books.
Yes. Well, I mean, this is something that everybody struggles with, I think. The key is consistency, no
Yeah,
matter what you're doing, whether it's writing, exercise, music, any creative aspect. How do you keep going? Now, I mean, I was lucky enough with this book that it just kept calling to me. Like I had no choice. I had to finish this book and I had to, my husband would say, "Are you still in there working?" Uh, I'm like, yeah, go away. But with other things, it's really about habits, creating habits. Everything is habit. I mean, it's lifestyle and your habits. And I try to turn to people that can inspire you with how to create good habits because inspiration comes and goes. You can't wait around for inspiration all the time if you really want to get something done or if you
right.
really want. Like today, like I started this strength training program. I didn't really want to do it today, but it was
Yeah,
my day. So I'll just plug, maybe you've heard of James Clear. He's a
yeah,
pretty famous,
yeah.
he wrote
Atomic habits.
Atomic Habits.
Yeah,
And if people are struggling, and he has great ideas about how to create positive habits and how to let go of the negative habits.
yeah,
And one thing that I've found helpful for me, and it's not a new concept, but it's habit stacking. Like now it's like after I finish my coffee in the morning, I immediately go do some mobility work. So I stacked my mobility work to right after my coffee. And that way it's done. I don't forget about it. So it could be anything. Like after you brush your teeth, you do something that you meditate for 5 minutes or
right.
whatever it is. And you know what else about consistent? I've really changed my mindset about this too, because you have to look at things as a long-term journey, almost
Yeah,
like a lifelong journey. It's not a 30-day challenge. It's not something I'm going to do for a couple months. Like I set a goal and I'm like, I'm really not going to check in and see how well I'm doing for at least 6 months. And then I'm going to check in where I am in a year. I mean, before I was always so patient, like, oh, did I lose any weight or did I gain any muscle? Did I eat the right foods? And I'm checking and checking and checking. But things take time and we have to be
yeah.
patient. We have to just create. This is part of our lifestyle. This
Right.
isn't something we're just going to do for a while. And if you look at it, it's like, well, I'm on this year-long journey, then I better just keep doing it and doing it and doing it and doing it. So those are two things that might help some people with consistency.
Yeah, consistency is the key, but it's also difficult. But you have to have the right motivation. And I think, too, when you have a big enough why for whatever you're going after, whether it's health issues, whether relationship issues, whether it's mental, spiritual, whatever the case may be, all right? I found the bigger the why I have, the more consistent I am, right?
Yes, you nailed it. You just nailed it. Know your
Yeah,
why. Keep
yeah.
reminding yourself of your why.
Because, and I'll share this a little bit. I started the podcast because I had a major bout with vertigo and I had a vestibular imbalance. And it really was my body saying that emotionally and mentally, with some things that were going on, I was out of balance. And so it got so bad that my body says, hey, dude, you're out of balance. I'm going to show you how bad you're out of balance by taking you out of balance. And the only way I could get back was through learning about these things that I talk about in the podcast, neuroscience, yoga, meditation, and all these other things. And so even I've gotten to the point where my last EEG was clear, the vertigo is no longer there, the vestibular is doing well, but I'll notice that if I'm out of balance spiritually or I'm out of balance mentally or emotionally, I get lightheaded.
Hmm.
And so
Interesting.
that my why for yoga, for working out and meditation is I want to manage my nervous system so that I
What is
don't,
it the stress? Is it
it,
the
it was, it
stress that
was, it
puts you
was
out of balance?
it was the stress and it's basically the off balance because stress is nothing but a flow of cortisol and adrenaline, right?
Yeah.
And once you have all of that and you've had that impacted before, it can easily be turned back on. And so I noticed that if there's a little stress there, I get really focused on that long-term goal, consistently working out, doing yoga, doing the things I need to do, going to bed on time, balancing my day. Then I can notice, okay, things are beginning to balance back out. Okay, good. I'm back in the right rhythms. I'm doing the right things and so on and so forth. And so sometimes you just have to have a big why to do something. So if you want to write or if you want to go after a career or you want to transform something, spend a lot of time focusing on the why. And I think,
Absolutely. I totally agree with you. I mean, that's one of the things we do when I coach people. And
right,
sometimes people's why can just be like, I want to have enough energy to play with my grandkids. I mean,
yes,
it could be as simple as that.
right.
The bigger your why, the more powerful it's going to pull you.
And it's going to let you persevere through difficulties when you have a strong why, because you know why you're in it. You have something from your gut that says, hey, let's go. Let's keep going. It's kind of like watching the college football playoffs. The teams that have the biggest why and the deepest yearn, they figure out a way to make it work. They just come together and make it happen. So, yeah, this is really cool. But I have really enjoyed your book. I've really
Oh,
enjoyed our
thank you so
conversation.
much. Thank you.
Laurie, if someone wants to work with you, get coached by you, or pick up your book, where can they learn more about you and where can they go?
Well, I would say first check out my website, and it's www.laurie, Lauries, Jacobson.com. So it's Laurie S. Jacobson.com. And I have a lot of information on there about my coaching services. There's links to my book, or you can go straight to my Amazon page. And I also have a blog and a newsletter. So if you'd like to sign up for my newsletter, you can do that on the website. And I will send you a free 24-page guidebook called Building Your House of Health.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, Laurie, it's been a pleasure speaking with you. Again, I enjoyed your book. It's very well written and very deep with a lot of the things that you go through and takes you on a
Thank you.
journey.
That
And
means so much to a writer, honestly.
yeah, and I totally enjoyed it. So thank you for being on the Productivity Smarts podcast.
And thank you for having me. I enjoyed it.
If you're enjoying the content and finding it valuable, we would appreciate it if you could take a moment and leave us a review. Your feedback is important to us and helps us reach a wider audience. If you leave us a 5-star review, it would mean the world to us. Not only does it help us improve the podcast, but it also helps us attract more sponsors and grow our community. Thank you again for your support and for listening to the Productivity Smarts podcast.
Thank you for tuning in to Productivity Smarts, where we help you achieve your goals and live your best life. We hope you've gained valuable insights and actionable strategies to boost your productivity and increase your happiness and fulfillment. Remember to apply what you've learned and keep striving towards your goals. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to our podcast for more inspiring episodes and expert advice from our host, Gerald J. Leonard. Until next time, keep pushing forward and unleashing your productivity smarts.